Hospital workers are, of course, in the front line soldiers in this war against an invisible enemy, but some say they were sent into battle inadequately armed. And when some tried to bring in additional protection, they say retaliation followed. ABC's Diane Macedo has this report.
In the battle against COVID-19, healthcare workers are on the front lines. They're thanked every day for their service in different ways around the world. But some are now speaking out, saying while they fight to protect the public, they're being punished for trying to protect themselves.
It could be, who knows, the end of my career doing inpatient care, but hopefully not. But I knew that was a super important issue, and I had to speak out.
Dr. Neely Buckaloo says in late March, she traveled from Post Falls, Idaho to fill in at a rehab facility in Boise, where she arrived to work wearing her own N95 mask.
I went through my day, no issues. It came in the next day, and I was sat down by the CEO of that particular hospital, just the rehab hospital, and told that I couldn't wear my mask.
What reason did they give you?
It's against hospital policy to have your own PPE. The reason was, well, if you wear PPE, everyone will want to wear PPE, and we don't have enough. So I wasn't satisfied with any of those answers, especially given the risk that I pose to the patients being a traveler. They told me that I wouldn't be able to return if I insisted on wearing my PPE.
She says she refused to work without her N95 and was terminated. The hospital tells ABC News that Buckaloo refused to follow its policy barring outside masks, that they offered her a simple respiratory mask because the N95 wasn't, quote, medically indicated for her work in a rehab facility that screens out patients with COVID-19 symptoms, and that they have enough PPE for their needs. Buckaloo insists her main concern was protecting the patients. She says she's not clear what this incident means for her career, but she adds that as an independent contractor, she feels she had more freedom to speak out than doctors on staff.
I knew I had the flexibility and the privilege to speak out and say what's right for an important cause.
Nurse Dawn Kulak says she had a similar experience at Virtua Voorhees Hospital in New Jersey after she says she returned to work while still recovering from pneumonia.
When I arrived on the unit, I was given a very, very thin white mask that was comparable to tissue paper, in my opinion. I was told that I had to wear the paper mask unless I was going in a COVID positive room.
Instead, Kulak says she put on an N95 mask she'd brought from home and a pair of gloves from the hospital to use at her workstation. She says it wasn't long before a manager approached her telling her she could only wear gloves in patient rooms.
The thing is, when she was asking me to take off my gloves, she was actively wearing gloves walking around the floor.
So your superior was telling you to take off your gloves while she was wearing gloves herself?
Yeah. Yep. Yes. And then she says, and the N95, you've got to come off. You're to wear the surgical mask we gave you. And I said, I don't understand why. I said, I'm just trying to protect myself. I said, and I'm getting over pneumonia. I mean, that shouldn't even be an issue. But I was told no.
She says she eventually told her supervisor she'd promised her 10-year-old son she would not take her mask off.
My supervisor told me after that statement, if that's the way you feel, I strongly suggest that you rethink your career. Go clock out, leave, go home.
After her story made local news in early April, Kulak says the hospital changed its policy, allowing employees to bring their own masks. But she said it would not meet her request to provide all employees with N95 masks and still would not allow her to wear gloves at her workstation.
I was told that my actions were putting Virtua employees at risk by my behavior. And I had an option to either resign or be terminated.
Ultimately, she was terminated.
Losing my job for standing up for what is right, that should never be a thing. I took an oath for the greater good, and I took an oath to protect my patients. And I don't see what I did wrong.
The hospital tells ABC News it provides N95 masks to staff who treat COVID-19 patients or those awaiting test results, and those in high-risk areas like the ICU or ER. It says keeping our frontline healthcare workers safe is always our top priority. But it's not just doctors and nurses who say they're at risk. Illinois hospital security guard Marvell Moody says he was told on March 10th he couldn't wear any kind of mask at work, even after explaining his elderly mother he cares for has preconditions.
I wore the mask to protect myself because the part of the hospital I work at, we're first contact with patients, and we have a lot of patients come in coughing that's sick and ill.
He says he asked why doctors and nurses were allowed masks, but not him.
My supervisor informed me that it causes hysteria in the hospital.
Concerned for his mother, he stayed home unpaid, but says he tried to go back after the hospital changed its policy.
I called to see if, they was going to put me on the schedule, but I never got a call back. You work for a company for 10 years, and for them to, tell you something like this, it's a little frustrating, a little hurt.
Moody is now suing, a lawsuit the hospital says it's reviewing, telling ABC News that it's committed to maintaining the safest environment possible for patients and staff.
Our thanks to Diane for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.